Good morning, lovely friends. How are you today? I do hope you're well. Welcome to March. Oh my goodness, it's starting to get busy and exciting. We're suddenly having some really fine weather. Sunshine, some warmth. And I think we, just like plants, I think we sense it, don't we, this change. Our sap is starting to rise too. It's so happy making. Now, it's quite possible that in the next few weeks we will have some pretty grotty, grey, dark, damp days. It's quite possible we will still have some frosty nights. But never mind. Nature is kind of reminding us that it's time to think about growing again. So today I'm going to talk about what to sow in March. Just before I do, quick note to say, if you've got produce stored in your shed, as I do with my onions, and produce stored at home, the squash, what have you, bear in mind things have been stored for quite some time now, so do keep a regular check on them for any that might be going off. And things like with your onions, some of them may be starting to sprout. If there are signs of them sprouting, what I generally do is I'll race them home, chop them up, get them in the freezer, and that way they'll, I can eke them out for hopefully another couple of months, until all my first ones are almost, well, they won't be almost ready at the beginning of May. I usually do have a little bit of a gap in terms of onions and being self-sufficient in them. There is, like I say, that sort of little month of May where I need to buy them, or just do without and make recipes that don't need onions. I can't think of a single recipe that doesn't need an onion, apart from ice cream. Is that a recipe? Anyway, yes, so do bear that in mind with your stored produce. Keep checking through it, especially the things that are stored sort of not in the freezer, so yeah, your squash, onions, garlic, what have you. Okay, so what to sow in March. Now, also bear in mind, wriggly giggly Gertie today, I probably sow quite a lot of my stuff a bit later than other folk. Certainly a bit later than some of my friends, certainly a bit later than some folk that you'll see on YouTube. The reason for that is I do tend to try to sow a lot of stuff directly outside, purely from the point of view of I just don't have that space at home indoors where it's warm. As other folk may say, have a greenhouse, a polytunnel, etc, etc. So personally, I'm only going to sow, I'm just checking, I've made a lovely long list. I'm only going to be sowing two things this month indoors, and that is my celery and my tomatoes. I'll be doing them in about the middle of March. If I was doing celeriac, I would also do that in the middle of March. But having done it for about, 3 years and pretty much failed miserably with them, I don't bother anymore. But yes, so tomatoes, celery, celeriac, get them going now indoors. The only other thing that I'm going to plant, will be my potatoes. Anytime from the 17th of March onwards, just depending on the weather and soil temperature, that sort of thing. However, there are lots of things you can start now if you're so inclined. So, just to say as well, from last month, if you haven't sown your peppers, your chilies, your aubergines, you've just about got time, but get onto it pronto. Do it quickly. Do it now, because they do need that long season. Also in that, quickly get on with it now, just about got time. All the alliums, so your onions, your leeks, yes, just squeeze them in now. Still, sorry, there's lots of strange noises today distracting me. The aubergines, peppers, chilies will need warmth, so either at home or a heated greenhouse. The tomatoes and celery and celeriac, not saying celeriac, but doing tomatoes and celery at home, they will need warmth, hence they'll be in my south facing window. Let's think about things that I am not going to do now, but you could do. Outside, you've still got a chance to get some broad beans in. Can't wait to show you how mine have fared over winter, but yeah, you've still got a chance to get some broad beans in now. You could do a sowing of peas now. Either start them in cells and cover them in tulle if you have a mouse problem, or it's just about warm enough in the soil to start them direct, sow them direct now. See how the weather goes, but yeah, in a couple of weeks you could do some peas as well, either direct or doing the cells, whack them in your cold frame greenhouse. They don't really need the heat, but likewise they don't want to be sitting in really wet, cold soil, and a lot of our soil is quite cold and wet at the moment. You could also start direct. You could start some parsnips and some carrots. Again, they're something I leave a little bit later, partly to give me time to prep the beds for them. I'll generally start those more like at the beginning of April, but again, for me, it's that thing of just let the soil warm up a bit. If you're going to have a go at carrots and parsnips for the first time this year, the main thing to bear in mind is, more than any other plant that you will grow, they do not like their roots to be disturbed. So sow them where you intend to grow them. Don't be tempted to start them off in a tray and prick them out. You will end up with really gnarly, forked, stubby, horrible specimens. It's better to wait a little while for the soil to warm up, get your bed prep done, nice fine tilth for them to go into. Yeah, wait a few weeks and do that, rather than start them now in trays or cells or whatever, because they really won't like to be disturbed. So if you feel like your soil has warmed up a bit, yeah, go for it with some parsnips and carrots. I know a couple of my fellow plot holders, real old school gardeners, they will be starting theirs in the next couple of days or so. They do every year. They have great success. I've tried it early, no success. But there we go. So yeah, that's stuff for direct outside, the broad beans, your potatoes, what have you. Also, to start, I would probably be inclined to start them in cells, again, unheated cold frame. Think about starting your summer and autumn brassicas. So your cabbages, your collie, if you've got an autumn variety of one of the sprouting broccolis. What else would we do at this time? Yeah, so that's about it with the brassica family, isn't it? But yeah, if they're a summer or autumn variety, start those now as well. I won't be starting any of my brassicas for a little while yet, because I always do my brassicas for winter, because I don't have space for summer ones. I wish I did. I need another plot just for brassicas and another plot just for fruit. The other things you could start this month, again, sow them in cells or trays. An unheated greenhouse or cold frame or polytunnel should be okay. Sorry, distracted then. The thing is, we need a little, most things will need a bit of warmth to get going, but on the other hand, we don't want things to be too warm, because they'll grow too quickly. We want things to grow slowly and strong rather than quickly and all weak and spindly. So yes, unheated greenhouse, unheated cold frame. You could also start in some cells now, various salad leaves, all the myriad different salad leaves, chard, perpetual spinach, regular spinach, beetroot, fennel. And now that I've tried, I was always told never to start fennel in cells and transplant them sow direct, but I tried a few in cells last year and it kind of worked okay. So yeah, you could do fennel in that too. Again, for me, all of those things, I will generally wait until, gosh, probably towards the end of April and sow them direct. There's two reasons for me doing that. One, I don't have any compost at the moment to put into cells, and you know, it's an added expense to buy compost to start things in cells, which I don't really want to have. I would do it if I absolutely had to, of course. So I don't have any compost for my cells, but also I can't be bothered with all the pricking out, potting on, So for me, by sowing them direct, and I with all my salad leaves, chard, spinach, beetroot, with all those things, I sort of roughly make a drill, but I sort of pretty much chuck them in almost broadcast, scratch over, and then if they're coming up in big clumps, by way of thinning, I take those thinnings and I eat them, leaving the big ones to get even bigger. So yes, have I done everything on my little list for you all? Oh, and the other thing, now this isn't something I've ever done, this was a look up, thank you to Vital Seeds. Now, March is the month for planting your asparagus crowns, March or into April. So if you're wanting to develop an asparagus bed, now is the time to do it. If you haven't ordered your crowns already, have a look. It'll be online, I suppose, at the moment still, won't it? But have a look, see where you can buy the crowns from, see if they have them available and what the lead-in time is for delivery. And if you can get them before the end of March, go ahead, order them, and while you're waiting for them to come, perfect, you've got the time to prepare the asparagus bed, because they do require a specific way of planting, which you can look up online, get a demonstration for. So yeah, if you're wanting an asparagus bed, get on it now. That's about it, really. Like I say, for me, I'm keeping it simple still. At this stage, March, it's just tomatoes and celery at home, potatoes into the garden at some point after the 17th of March. April and May, there'll be a whole different story. There will be a lot of sowing. So, okay, quick recap. Indoors, tomatoes, celery, celeriac, quickly, peppers, chilies, aubergine, quickly, onions, leeks, unheated cold frame is fine. Direct in the garden, broad beans, kind of last chance with broad beans. Your first direct sown peas, or do them in cells, again, pop them in the unheated cold frame. The summer and autumn brassicas, all those different brassicas, all your leafy, salady, beetrooty, fennel things, again, cells in the cold frame, a little bit of protection, a little bit of warmth. Yeah, and that's, oh, and possibly parsnips and carrots if you think your soil has warmed up enough. And that's about it for March. My goodness. Like I said, heading into April, it's going to be busy. Something else, very quickly, to be getting on with this month, and it's going to be my next job. In fact, almost as soon as I finish speaking to you, I'm going to start in on it, I think, today. Pruning. It's last chance saloon to do the prune. So think in terms of your fruit trees, fruit bushes. I'm going to be tackling my blueberry bushes, the herb garden, all of those bits of pruning. This is a chance to get on it before everything really starts, before that sap really starts to make things go mad. Buddleia. I was reading about buddleia the other day, I can't remember why. Oh no, I wasn't reading. My neighbour has done a massive hack back of their buddleia. So yeah, once you've done your sowing and you've got a spare 5 minutes and you think, I'm itching to do something in the garden, go and do a bit of pruning. Yeah, that's it. Short and sweet today. I'm just, sorry, bear with me. My phone is buzzing me. Stop that now. yeah, short and sweet. Get on, enjoy. The other thing to think about in March, if you're like me and most of the sowings are going to be coming a bit later, use this time, whether it's bed prep, have a sort out. Oh, I noticed Jim had a sort out in his greenhouse the other day. Get your pots and trays and get everything sorted and ready, because honestly, once we get into April, it is going to go mad. So, sort, sow, enjoy. I will see you all again really soon. I'm just, Kay's coming over. I'll see you all again really soon. So until the next time, please look after yourselves. Happy daydreaming, happy seed sowing. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.